Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is Thursday, and the market, boy, I tell you what, we had an up day yesterday, kind of a relief rally related to the kind of the relief. I think that it was only a half a point raise on the Fed funds rate, but today the market slipped lower. And I think it's very important. I just want to put out this notice, and I put out on TikTok and YouTube. Hopefully, you'll see this. The market uptrend is now moved from a confirmed uptrend to an uptrend under pressure. And when we have an uptrend under pressure, what we need to do is we need to reduce our positions to the market. So if you have any profits that you could take them now. Also, try to go to at least 50% cash. Who knows? We may bounce back on Friday, but I definitely think, at least with the number of distribution days, we are going lower. So you just have to be careful. I had a short today that I opened and I closed, and so basic, and that was on Amazon. So that worked pretty well for me. I made a little bit of money, but here's the thing: I just got to be super careful in this environment. Um, and you just really have to really consider possibly kind of going to cash here, because it does look like, and again, we don't know exactly, obviously, we cannot predict the future, that's for sure, but we definitely have a situation where we're going to have a situation here, if we're where if you're long, you're going to have to be super careful. Why? Because we could have some more to go down here. So basically, what's going on here is that the November retail sales were in today. They did not look good. And so what happened was, we had a situation where, they dropped point six, and this should be the strongest season of the year versus point two. So that basically was a reversal. Now this was November numbers for retail. That's part of the reason I shorted Amazon. I did close the short before the end of the day today, but I may re-short it again. I'm waiting for it to move up a little bit, and then we may go lower, believe it or not, from here. So be careful with your positions right now. Be careful with your positions, because we probably are going lower here. We have moved from an uptrend under a confirmed uptrend to an uptrend under pressure. So it's just a good idea to start wrapping things up. And I just wanted to put that out there for everybody. Uh, the Nasdaq plunged below key level on the index, and we also had 2 distribution days on the Nasdaq, 3 on the S&P. So definitely, it's looking like potentially it's getting ready to turn lower. So we've got to be careful. Here's what I have. I do have one thing long. It was down today, and that's BP. Now I have been selling this out as we've been. I did reduce my position on this one. I've reduced my position on this one twice. When we're getting a profit signal, I still hold BP, but I do think that some of the oils are going to be more difficult right now to hold on to. I have one short right now. It's on Penske Automotive, and it was down today about 1.35%. Now, this one is an ownership. Of course, they have the truck rental company. Probably everybody knows about that one. But they also own a lot of automobile dealerships. And I do think, going forward with this interest rate raise, basically 0.5%, this is going to cause a lot of automobile financing to be very much more difficult. So this is why I have a short on this. So we'll see how it does going forward into Friday. Just kind of wanted to show you kind of the only things I have on the board right now. This is my profit and losses. This is a percentage, of course. Depends, of course, on how big the size is. Considering I've held BP for 44 days, it really hasn't gone up all that much. About 1.5%, not a lot. But I just initiated the short on PAG. That's Penske Automotive Group, and that is showing some good signs of progress here. The short on BP 44 days, short on PAG 1 day. So that kind of gives you an idea. There is a stock of the day out there. It's Vertex. I don't know if I would buy this one. It's got a very, very good chart. It's 99 out of 99 in composite rating, so it's the top 1%. It's coming out of a flat base, but I just would be careful with this one. We're in a situation where, going along on anything, William O'Neill famously said, and he said this quite a few years ago, if you have a downward trending market, like we're probably going to move into fully, the only two things you can do is be all in cash or short. So that's kind of way that I do think that we are going to get a deterioration in the market. Not to be alarmist for anybody. Um, we just if anyone is interested in the ready list, that is available right here. Just want to put that up there for everybody looking on TikTok, and that's https://sinfox.com/LP/1, the number one, JVRP6. So that's how to get the ready list. We also have the heat map, which I also think is really important. That's showing, where the money is flowing in the market. That's available too. The address for this one, https://sinfox.com/LP/M, the number two, GPL5. So if you're interested in those, that's the way to get more information on the on that. So without further ado, let's get to some of your great questions here. Let's see. First of all, let's take a look and get over to the questions. Thank you. Sarah, thank you very much always for taking time. IBM is a short candidate. Good question. Let's take a look. It might be. I haven't really looked at the chart on. I haven't really looked at the chart that much on IBM. So let's go over to that chart and see kind of what's going on. Wow, look at that. Now it just dived like a stone. Let's see if we can put that up here for everybody. This is a good. Thank you for this, Sarah. This looks like a good. This looks like a good possibility here. The question is it a short candidate? Well, let's kind of run through it to see. If we can get it as a short candidate, it just absolutely collapsed today, as you can see. This red bar here, it normally would come down to the 21-day line. That's this green line here, but it didn't. It just kind of just kept on going. We do have it wasn't on earnings. Earnings are in 41 days, but somebody is unloading a big position there. Let's take a look at the checklist. Okay, we've got a 6 out of 9 checklist, and let's see how far below the pivot we are. Boy, there's no pattern on this stock. That means it's not basing, so that's interesting. Let's look at the technicals. It's below the 21-day line, and it just absolutely smashed through that. And it's quite actually fairly close to the 200-day line. Now, the question is probably what's going to happen on this when you do have this kind of a drop off is that it won't go all down at once. What will happen is it'll come down, and then it will rally, and then it's shortable. So if you can get it to rally near that 21-day line, I would short it at the 21-day line. That's where I would do it. So 21 days. So if it moves up to 146.13, that might be a place that you could do it. Now, here's how you do it. You set a limit order on this. You would set a limit order to short this one. So let me put this up here for everybody. You would set a limit order basically at that 21-day line, and the 21-day line is 146.13. So if you shorted, there's where you would short. You would short at that 21-day line, 146.13. Let me see if I can, let's see if I can put that up there. short IBM at 146.13. Okay, so basically what I'm saying here is if you were to short it at this level, uh, if you were to short it at this level, that's kind of where you'd want to do it, 146.13, and basically the that's basically this green line here. Now, don't chase it. This is really, really important because it may just not rally. It may just go straight down. Just don't chase it. But if it rallies and then it rallies, and I think it may rally up to the 21-day line, that's a perfect place to short it, because it does look like it's getting support. You notice how IBM was trending. It was above the 10-day line, and then it got here, and then it just sort of converged, and all of a sudden, it dropped before the 10-day, and then the 21-day. So I think we're going to get it bounced. It'll bounce back up and hopefully hit the 21-day line. Now, let's see how much meat there's left on the bone. What do I mean by that? Well, when you're shorting, you want to see how far it's dropped from its 52-week high. Now, currently, it's not dropped very much. 52-week high on IBM is basically just 7.1%, 7.1%. So this is not very far above. This hasn't really deteriorated all that much. So there is a little bit of danger in here. Now, this does not have, and I want to be very clear about this. This does not have a very good shorting pattern. Normally, we want to head we want to head and shoulders. So this is not the ideal stock to short. But if I did short this one, I would short it at 146.13. That's kind of where I would do it on this one. So that would be my take on shorting IBM. I probably would not short IBM in this situation, just because just because of the this. I think there are other potentially better shorts. That's one of the reasons why I went with PAG. I think it's a little bit better short, because but still, this is not necessarily. This is, you could short this one here. I just probably would not be. I probably would not be short here on this one myself. So, but I appreciate that, Sarah, very, very much. It is a candidate, so I would see if it moves back to that critical 21-day moving average, and that's right at about 146.13. That's where I would consider shorting it. Okay, let's look at, for Lisa. Let's look at the spider and the Qs as well. It's really the Qs that took the damage today, more so than the spider. So let's look at the daily chart of the of the spider here. See if we can pull that in for everybody. On the spider, um, we definitely came up to the 200-day moving average right here, and then it got resistance, so it's fallen below that. The likelihood is very good that it's going to move lower tomorrow. It's probably going to move a little bit lower. As you can see, we're looking here at the 10-minute chart. So basically, when the Fed came out, there was a gap up. That was kind of a relief rally, and then it just has gone down since. It's gone down 1, 2, 3 days. So really, basically, the trend is down on this, and this is one of the reasons why the condition went to a uptrend under pressure. Now, the real index that really fell the most, of course, is the QQQ, and I want to kind of look at this one as well. The Qs were off significantly, 3.36%. Definitely fell, and the key level here, if you can see it, is the 50-day moving average. That's the key. Because it dropped below that, that's what triggered the changing condition in the market from a confirmed uptrend to an uptrend under pressure. That's what did it right there. So That's part of the reason. Let's look at the 10-minute chart here. Yeah, as you can see, it just it came right up and then boom. There's a little bit of a recovery, but it fell quite a bit. It fell 20 points, and that is that's a significant amount to fall in a day, especially for an index. So, we had the index go down 3.35%, 36% on a little bit lighter volume, but definitely moved. But the key is it moved below that critical, and let's look at the technicals here, that critical 278.11 number. Now, why is that important? Well, the 50-day line is one of the major indexes, that one of the major index lines. And if it can't rally above this, then the market is probably headed lower. We may have another downgrade on Friday. We'll see if we go into a market correction, if there's a huge sell-off tomorrow. You never know. It's really, really hard to tell, but that's kind of what's up there. Okay, well, here we go. Let's take some questions from TikTok. Thank you very much. Tell me, we are going to go up over next week. I wish I could tell you that, but I don't think that's likely. I don't think that's likely. Unfortunately, I wish that it would, but I don't think that's likely. Unfortunately, I think we're likely to go lower. We're likely to go lower here. Um, yeah, I mean, if you have Tesla right now, I would consider cutting your position, because I definitely think it's going lower. Tesla may become a good short candidate. Let's look at Tesla for a short candidate. I shorted it earlier in the week, but again, it was a day trade for me. It was a very short period of time. I didn't hold it. I covered very, very quickly on this, but it looks like it's moving up after hours. This could be a very good opportunity to short it. Let's take a look at the weekly and kind of see, okay, so yeah, we're starting to get it moved to, this is the weekly chart here. We're starting to see it move lower, and it's definitely below the 10-week line. So yeah, it's definitely and if we go to the daily chart, we can see, let's look at the technicals here. Yeah, we're below all the major indexes. We're below the 10-day, we're below the 21-day, 50 and 200. So, and it's stacked. Unfortunately, it's stacked absolutely backwards. It's absolutely backwards here, the way it's stacked. So, where could you short that? Well, right now we're at 157. A good place to short that would be probably at the, I think, probably at the about 165 is where I would consider shorting this. If we get a rally to that might be a place we could possibly short this one. Let's take a look kind of at the 60-minute chart here on Tesla to see. Yeah, see, I've bracketed this out. As you can see, we've flown all the way from. I definitely think that we're probably going to get a rally here, but I think you could short this at about one at about about here, about the 172 line. That's where I would consider possibly doing a short there, would be about at that level. So, yeah, that's definitely what I would potentially look at doing, because that's kind of where it broke. That's kind of where it broke here. So, if you are in Tesla, if you're long Tesla, I would consider closing your position right now, if you can. And I know it may be painful for some of you taking loss. I mean, I've heard a lot of traders who have taken some serious losses on this, but you want to cut your losses now if you do have Tesla long. So just be forewarned. TMDX. Let's look at TMDX here. TMDX, and there we go. I'm going to look at the daily chart here for TMDX, and hopefully we'll see that. There we go. So TMDX, and this is Transmedics Group. I'm not familiar with this one that much, but it is in a good area. The medical has is a good defensive area in the market. It's come up above the buy point, 56.41 buy point. I just want to check on the checklist on this one. 89 checklist, so that's very, very strong. Let's look at the technicals. And it is above the 21-day line. That's not bad, and it's very close to it. It's 1%, so it's right on it. So that is not a bad place for it to be. I kind of want to check a few things. I want to check the checklist. That's an excellent checklist, by the way. Excellent, excellent checklist. Let's go over here to the weekly chart and let's look at the fundamentals on this on this company. Yeah, look at this. Wow, look at that sales that were up 378%, but they're still losing money. So, I don't know about this. We definitely have cash flow here, but I don't like buying in this kind of market. I'm not as excited about buying money losing companies, but it definitely looks like their sales are increasing, and that's what you want to see. So they develop warm blood perfusion system that allows for living organs transplant. So that's yeah, there's definitely a market for this. So this is an FDA. A little bit more difficult when you're dealing with stocks like this that are in the biomedical area because they tend to be very they tend to depend a lot on FDA approval and things like that. So that can be sometimes an issue. That can be sometimes an issue when you're going for those stocks. All right, let's see if we have another question from TikTok. TT got no love. Unfortunately, Tesla. Well, he sold a lot. Yeah, he did. Elon sold a lot of Tesla. That's true. TT. Let's look at TT here. And that's one I have not been in myself. I don't know. Trans Technology PLC. Interesting company. Uh, let's see about this one. If we can I'm going to go to the daily chart here to kind of get a look. Yeah, this one, cup with handle formation, which is good. 181.62 buy point on this one. That is also very positive. And it looks like it's pulling back. But what the problem here is, and why you can't buy it right now, is that it pulled below that 21-day line. So it's just unfortunate you can't buy it right here. It's still. I mean, technically, you could buy it if you had an update tomorrow, but I would not probably buy this one. I'd wait on this one to see if it pulls back. It may pull down all the way to the 50-day line. That probably, if it does deteriorate tomorrow, that's probably going to give us a second chance. But I don't necessarily like this. I mean, it's a cup with handle formation, but I want to see it hold one of these index lines. I want to either see it hold the 21-day or the 50-day. So we'll see. But yeah, it definitely definitely moved lower on that. So you just got to be careful. Right, Verizon VZ. This is from DGRIFF777, and that's thank you for watching on TikTok. Let's take a look at VZ. This is Verizon. This has been, a relative area of strength in this kind of a market. Not my favorite kind of stock, but I don't. And another thing is, I typically don't. If I'm going long, I don't really like to buy below that 200-day line. I just don't. Um, it looks okay. It did get some love today, but I just don't know. It just it's a tough one. Let's see how much. Yeah, this is down 32% off the 52-week high, so it's not lost as much as many of the other ones. One that I would like to kind of show you as well is well. We have another question here. Thank you, Raina. Appreciate it. What do you think the market will crash soon? Well, I don't necessarily think it's going to crash. I think what was likely to happen is we're likely to get, kind of a downward sloping action on it. So I want to show you the three indexes that I watch very carefully, and that one of them, of course, is the S&P 500 index. Then I also let's what I'm doing is I'm putting together a little comparison chart here from the last 6 months. Um, see if we can get, and then I also like the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq Composite, and then also the Dow Jones. These are the three major indexes, of course, that we typically look at. The Dow Composite. Okay, so if we're looking at all three of these, um, if we're looking at all three of these indexes, and I'm just going to put that up here. There we go. All right. So if we're looking at all three of these indexes, um, the basically the S&P is halfway between the Nasdaq, which has been underperforming the market. If you'll notice, if you put $1 in the Nasdaq Composite 6 months ago, you'd be down about 5%. The Nasdaq itself, the S&P is about even, and the better place to have been has been, at least for the last 6 months, has been in the Dow, but it's all kind of trending lower, as you can see. That we have this is one of the reasons why I'm looking to short the market here potentially. Now, I haven't completely, made my mind up, but this is one of the reasons why we do have a downward trend on three of them, on these three major indexes. Basically the S&P there, the Nasdaq, and the Dow. So these are all three moving lower. So this is one of the reasons why. I mean, I think to be long here is just it's not a really good situation. Now, I am long one position, of course, that's in BP, but I've been selling that off as as the opportunities have been presented to me. So that's kind of that's kind of the one. Thank you, Natural Woman 1979, for following me. I appreciate that. Yeah. Always like that. Please like and follow. I so appreciate it. Good evening, boss. I hope you're well. Any thoughts on PayPal? Gap at 64. Interesting. That's an interesting idea. Let's look at PayPal. Of course, that's the stock that Elon sold. Basically, it allowed him to buy. Basically, allowed him to start Tesla and SpaceX. But it has not been faring as well as we would like to see it. Yeah, there we go. Go over to the window here. There we go. So this is PayPal. Again, this long, painful slope. As you can see, this is one of the reasons why, and this is a warning. If you're in Tesla, stocks sometimes never recover. Okay, now I don't think that's going to happen with Tesla, but um, what happens is they'll make their move, and definitely that's just the case with PayPal. It hits all-time high about 300 there. But it's been down ever since. Now it's pulled lower, then it bounced, and it's moving lower. But I do think this is moving lower based on this chart. So I don't think this is one you want to be buying long right now. It just doesn't. I don't think it makes sense. If we're looking at the 52-week high, it's 64% from there basically down to there. So we're 64%. It's lost PayPal since the beginning of the year, since the last 52 weeks, it's lost essentially, it's lost essentially over 64% of its value, which is amazing. Now it did come down and bounce, but it is continuing that downward trend. So I would be very, very careful in PayPal. I just wouldn't buy it probably at this point. All right, Mr. G, let's look at Array. This one was doing really well yesterday. This is one of the solar stocks The thing about Array is that, and we did have this bounce. So let's go to the daily chart. The thing about this that I'm a little worried is that, solar stocks depend heavily on government subsidies. And if government subsidies don't happen in this lame duck session of Congress, this is likely to fall. So I'd be really careful about this one, to buying this one long. It's coming through a nice cup basis. It came up to the buy point, the 2350 buy point, but it looks like it's pulling back to the 21-day line. I'm not sure I would necessarily short it here because I don't like shorting off a cup with handle formation. But I probably would not be buying it long either. I just wouldn't be, because it's way above the 200-day line. It's 48% above the 200-day line. So this could possibly move lower. It's only 6.75% below the 52-week high. So this one definitely could fall very, very sharply. Now, will it? I don't know. But if it loses traction at the 21-day line, I would be watching very carefully, because that could be an issue for this stock. Remember, when markets start to turn over like this, once you have a uptrend under pressure like we have now, the bias of the market is lower. So most of the stocks are going to be moving lower now rather than higher. So if we can show this to the people on TikTok here, but the number of stocks that were um, up in volume was small compared to the ones that are down in volume. So I definitely think that we haven't seen all of the selling yet. So there's going to be some more selling probably in the market. All right, let's do snow. Hey Jim, why did the market crash today? Well, part of the reason, this is for Brian Grossland. Thank you very much for that. The reason it didn't really, I wouldn't say it crashed, but the issue that we're having in the market here is that, the real issue that we're coming up against here is that, there we go. The real issue that we're coming against up is here, this interest rate rise coupled with the lower sales numbers for retail. That's not a good look. Not when over 70% of the market is based in retail. And if retail numbers are going down in the best quarter of the year, that's the final quarter, that's the December quarter, that's the Christmas quarter, then I think we have some things to worry about. So right now, I would have a bias towards being either short or in cash. So let's look at Snowflake. This is an interesting stock. It's very widely held by the funds. So this is one that I definitely think, you know, you want to be. What I think is going to happen with Snowflake, yeah, and as you can see, it's starting to sell out. This has just been a kind of a tale of woe here. This stock is, uh, I mean, it's down, but if we look at the year to date on this one, the 52-week, this is down 60%. Okay, and this stock is extremely widely held by funds. Let's take a look at the number of funds that are in it. Um, this was supposedly the next big thing. There's 1,597 funds in this one. These funds are going to have to liquidate, okay, because if it continues to go down like this, it's already 60% off of its all-time high. They're going to be forced to sell. So I definitely think there's a lot of what they call overhead supply in this stock. If you'll notice, I'm just going to draw a line here. Now let's go back to the uh, this here. But if you'll notice, there's just a whole lot of people that just recently bought it above where it is now. So even though it's going to rally up here, there's going to be a lot of selling pressure. So I think that this has got to be very careful. You got to be very careful here on this one. So I would not be a buyer long of um, of Snowflake. I mean, you might want to look at some puts. Here's Charles, and that's I think what Charles is saying. Yeah, puts on oil companies. That's a good question. I think that I'm a little bit leery on doing puts on oil companies only because I do think that oil has come down in terms of price, in terms of the barrel price, to the point where I think we're going to get some stabilization. But one of the ones I think you want to look at is OIH. This is an ETF that covers oil services, and I think this one definitely could be shorted. Okay, I definitely think this one could be shorted. It's called VanEck Oil Services. I definitely think this one's going to be shorted. Basically, it's an exchange traded fund that corresponds to the market vectors listed in oil services. So, if oil services are going down, I think that would be relative to drilling. So, if drilling activity goes down, this one probably is going to go down as well. So, I think this one potentially is shortable as well. Let's take a look, see how much it's off. Yeah, see, this is only 15%, no, 10% off of its all-time high, and it's coming out of this base. So this one definitely could drop. This one definitely could drop here. So that's just a way that you can look at. I would be a little bit careful about putting puts on oils those right now because one of the things about the oils is that, I think that a lot of the safety money is going to move to them, even though they're not going to be making huge profits. I want to take a look at two stocks here right now, and one of them, of course, I want to look at is ExxonMobil. That's XOM. I want to look at that one. Yeah. See, this is one of the things I think that, yeah, I do think that this one, even though it's trending lower, I definitely think this one is probably going to maintain here because we've had one consolidation and then a second consolidation up. Now, this one could reverse and move higher. So I'd be a little bit leery about putting puts on this one. Let's look at CVX, that's Chevron. By the way, these are the two largest components of the XLE, which is the Spider Select Energy ETF. So this also, again, I don't think I would want to short this one. I definitely think this one could reverse just because the big oil companies in particular have, they have the refining, they have the exploration. So I think that a lot has come out of the oil price. So I want to look at the oil price right now. And that's the West Texas Intermediate WTI price. And this kind of this is just the commodity itself. This isn't actually any, but as you'll notice, oil made its high back here in June. Okay, back here in June, and it's been steadily moving down. Now it did bounce here, and it does look like if it can hold the 21-day line, maybe it'll go up. But right now, oil 77.28. If it's between 65 and 85, that's actually very healthy for the economy, believe it or not. But it does look like this has been a downward trend. It's still in a downward trend, but I'd be careful putting puts on here. Let's see what happens if it's rejected at the 21-day line. That's where you could possibly do a put on it, but I would wait until it moves above. This is crude oil price here. So I'm watching the crude oil price very, very carefully here. All right. Thank you very much. And Jim Diaz, thank you. The CPA was lower and the 50% is not a surprise. Absolutely. You're absolutely right, Jim. That is absolutely correct. The economy is driven by retail sales. As much as we'd like to say that it isn't, it is. That's one of the reasons why I was short. Amazon today. 70% of the market of the market cap, of the economic activity in the economy is based on retail sales. So the retail sales number is extremely important. It's extremely important. And obviously we knew that the interest rates were going to go up, but the weakening retail situation is definitely a concern. That's why if we don't get a good Christmas here, and it doesn't look like we're going to, I think we could go much lower much lower on the market. So that's a really, really good. That's a really good observation there, Jim. Appreciate that very, very much. Puts on oil companies. I don't think I would do that right here. I just kind of wait. I know these are the toughest, absolutely the toughest markets to trade, bar none. These markets are very, very news driven, and they're also very they're very volatile. So it's not fun when you're sitting on your hands when you're mostly in cash. But right now, in a downward trending market, I think you've got to be super careful. You either have to be short, and that means buying puts, or shorting a stock, or being cash. And I don't think you can be long very many things right now. I don't think it can be long very, very many things right now. It's just not the nature of it until we see kind of at least a floor here. All right, let's take one more question. Did you do Apple already? Let's do that. It's going to be the last one for tonight. It's going to be Apple. Thank you very much for watching, as always. So appreciate it. Let's see if I can get let's see if I can open the charts here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's go over here to Apple. I think I did close that window. AAPL, of course, is the symbol for Apple. I'm going to go to the daily chart here, and let's go ahead and share that screen. All right, so this is Apple here. It was down today. Now, here's something I want to show you, and this is one of the reasons why. This is one of the reasons why the Nasdaq index moved lower today, and why we went from a confirmed uptrend into an uptrend under pressure. The reason is because Apple, which is one of the largest components of the NASDAQ 100, the NASDAQ in general, it went lower today. And not only did it go lower, it went lower with higher volume. This is key because if you'll notice, the volume was up 17%. You notice with this line here, now this is tough to see, but this is a logarithmic scale. So if it goes above this red line, that means that it's not just a linear, it's exponential. So we had a tremendous boost in terms of in terms of selling here. You'll notice it goes from 60 to 90, and it goes really quick. So this is this is million shares. So Apple, which is one of the most liquid stocks out there, looks like it's potentially headed lower. Now, let's take a look. I want to look at the 60-minute chart on it. See, I already have this is one of my short points here. I'm looking potentially, if it does rally tomorrow, probably to short it right at about 142. That's where I'm looking at it, because right now it's right now it's at 136. So I don't know if it's going to rally or not. Here's the thing. Whenever you see a dagger like this, where it's upward pointing and it's got the lower cross down there, that means that it's not gapped down, but it's just gone lower all day. Expect this thing to correct up maybe to 140, 142. That's one of the reasons why I'm possibly looking at shorting this one at about 142. Apple. But be very careful when you do short. Make sure that you have stop losses in there. But you always want to short as it's moving higher. And 142 is just kind of what I've come up with. Unfortunately, there's no moving average that we can really short on because I don't think it's going to come all the way up to the. I don't think it's going to come up to the 10-day line. So I definitely think it's gonna peter out below that. But this could be a good opportunity. If you'll notice, Apple is in a consolidation pattern between here and here, but it's in a downward trend. Okay, so this is likely to rally up and then go lower because it hasn't broken its trend. This is the trend of Apple, and it's downwards. So we could probably short it at 142, and then I think we would have a very nice. We could have potentially a very nice a little run down here, and I think possibly covering the short down here at the bottom of the at the bottom of the consolidation, which So if you did short it there, you'd probably want to hold it until it came down to about 128 and then cover the short. But I definitely think this is the likely action if we get a week if we get weak retail sales. This is the likely action on um, this is the likely action on Apple. So it's likely to move lower. And I'm looking to short this one myself. So this is on my short list. Okay, well, thank you very, very much. Very, very much. And here's somebody from Adam Boyce too. I sold. Oh, this is the pair. Okay, the British pound U.S. dollar pair made 200 pips. That's excellent. By the way, if you're a forex trader, you're going to see weakening yen. The yen dollar pair is weakening right now. So that's one thing you want to kind of possibly look at as well. And somebody says here, Carter play is the spider going to 385 tomorrow? Well, let's take this is kind of the one last thing. Let's look at the spider SPY and see if I don't know 385. That's pretty aggressive. I don't think it's going to go that low. I think you're going to get a little bit of a reversal day tomorrow, but could it go as low as 385? Absolutely, but it's not going to go there tomorrow, I don't think. So thank you, everybody. As always, please, 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 if you can, hit that like button. And I have the big, I'm going to get a better like thing, but I like this. I like this. Smash the like button one. So smash that like button. Smash that like button for me. So smash that like, and so smash that. And also, if you haven't already signed up for the action trailer, it's very easy. Just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor, and it's free. Sign up there, and I'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and hopefully after as many questions as you can. Remember, the market has changed its direction. It's moving to an uptrend under pressure. You want to be mostly in cash right now or short because I definitely think the market is going lower. So thanks, everybody, and happy trading.